All right, so good morning and welcome to the New Homes Trade Room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember all trades discussed are for educational purposes, and it is possible to lose money trading futures. I guess the NQ is having a nice open. For a second, I looked at my chart and I thought I had the wrong contract. That's how crazy that move is. That's crazy. That's crazy. I guess somebody's happy this morning. So that may make the 9:45 trade an impossibility because you've obviously got such a strong market this morning, right now anyway, that you've got a trend. So the report's going to not have very much meaning. 76, 24, 34 points in 2 minutes. Did you trade this morning, Mark? So what time did you get in? And did you use our software? After the open or before? So you waited till it opened and then put the software on? Do you do every open the same way? If there's a trend, let me verify it. Do you do it only if there's a trend? So, but it wasn't a very big trend this morning. Okay, let's solve this issue finally once and for all. What time again do you try to establish your trend from? Midnight or 6 p.m.? Or if you get to the room and it's up 20, do you count that? So midnight East Coast. Midnight East Coast. All right. Mark, I definitely want to do the thing that we said. I'll email you. If you're willing, we'll do a guest moderator. Think you can do it? Think you were interested in doing it? And like I said, you could say no. You know the software trails, right? Do you use the software to trail? And I'm going to stop talking because I have a trade I want to set up. So there's a 9:45 trade, and I'm testing it this morning. I'm not. Sometimes the NQ testing does not translate. Okay, so it's a 9:45 trade. It's a bracket of 20, big bracket, and today it's warranted. My targets are 7 and 18. And my stop is 20. And my entry time is 9:44:59. And my testing is pretty darn good on this trade. And believe me, I'm not going to go crying into a corner if it works this morning, because frankly, I thought for sure I was facing some serious issues in my life that I'm not facing. So I don't care what happens today. I want to welcome our YouTube friends. Subscribe to our channel if you would. Notification bell. I think I'll be able to tell you when you're going to be willing to do it, because I think I truly understand what you're doing. Midnight was 13,777. I'm gonna read your stuff later because I can't concentrate right now. I would need to concentrate on this for a second. So let me just go over this setup real quick, folks. And then we have a new homes setup also. Bracket of 20, one target for 7 ticks, one target for 18 ticks, a stop of 20, entry time 9:44:59. Okay. And the name of the trade is NQ. It's manufacturing services PMI. And I'm going to make a template for it and date it. The reason you want to date it, because you want to make sure it's a valid template. Now, no, don't apologize, Mark. Let me record this and show you a quick test that I made. I made a terrible mistake yesterday. Existing homes should have been traded with the NQ. Okay, that was my first test of services manufacturing, and my setup was not good enough. So I tweaked my setup. And see, sometimes, look, if you get stopped, but there's a nice move, then it's probably just your setup. So you got to tweak. Sometimes you get the opportunity to tweak your setup. And that's absolutely the case on this trade. Now, I tested the last 3 with my setup. They look pretty good. The market's very volatile this morning. I just checked my time, so please go to time.is and check your time also. But look, it's calming down now. It's almost as if the market is going to look at this report. The market will look at this report. I will no longer, we are trying to move away from gold until gold starts to work better. You know, there's a couple of trades where it's fine, where it's behaving, but overall, if we can find a substitute, we're looking for it, because gold's been too inconsistent. Did anybody trade last night, overnight, or overseas? If you live overseas, the French, German, European flash services manufacturing PMI reports? No gold trades for you after 520. Yes, you have been saying that for a long time. It's true. The midnight level was 13,777. So when we got here this morning, Mark, it was totally flat for the midnight level when we got to the trade room at the open. So why did you go long? although it would have been up about 20 points, I believe, at 9:30. It would have been flat per midnight, but it would not have been flat per 6 p.m. when I look. I agree with that. Today would not have been a day I would have said this is the day to present. I agree. But I'll do you have your charts set so that they calculate at midnight? And I'm not 100% sure Ninja does that, but I believe it does. I'm guessing you know how to do that. Do you have your charts set? You know how I use the net change display and it shows us right now that the NQ is up 57 points? It might be hard to see. Lower left, it's up, NASDAQ's up 57 points. I use an indicator called net change display. It's free in Ninja, but it has to have a starting time to calculate that data. And I think one of the starting times is midnight. And if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you. If you remind me at 10 o'clock, you may know how to do it. I was thinking you know how to do it. Oh, okay. And I think midnight is one of the times because I know that I've said a million times, why would anybody in their right mind want to calculate at midnight? And so, Mark, so I ask, and that's really my question. Why don't you calculate? I'm not, look, it's working for you, so don't even pay attention to what I'm saying. But why wouldn't you calculate at 6 p.m.? 6 p.m. Eastern time, to me, makes so much more sense to find today's trend than midnight because 6 p.m. is when the day really begins. Fair enough. London Open. I can buy that. I can buy that. I can buy that. So again, my setup is a 20 tick bracket. It's a manufacturing report. I want to see if the NQ is safe. Okay. On this trade and on new home sales. I think my setup is good. And I think that I might, I'm not sure yet, but I might be willing to risk a one NQ contract on new homes to see if my setup is safe. I think this setup is safe. I think new homes is potentially the better moving trade. But there's something I forgot to do, and it's too late now. You want to set, you might want to set your stop to break even if it hits target 1 on this trade. 1, not 100%. And I say not 100% because I have only tested 3 months, but these markets, you go back further than 3 months and you're not in even similar markets to these. It's just not. So the idea is we want to try to, sometimes
Order submitted.
you don't have 3 months. Now the news is out, okay? And the NQ's going the right way. The news was good, but you're not getting, you also have a trend up, but my stop might be too small. So I'm really glad I didn't trade live because this tells us a lot. 25 tick stop without a doubt. Right now, I'm seeing that might not even keep you safe. I'm watching. it would have hit your first target. So it's got to be a 25 tick stop. And with these markets, it's just the way it is. The bracket was fine. The entry time was fine. So 25 tick stop, and you have a very good trade. So, and maybe even a 27 tick stop. And I'm telling you, look, if you have, look at the move you had in the NQ. If you think 27 ticks is too much of a stop, then I don't think you can trade these markets. Mark, you said you're willing to risk $200 on per contract, but it's also a different type of trade. Totally different type of trade. But perfectly okay. All right, you know what? Remind me to show you how to do what I was telling you about after the new homes trade. Okay, don't let me run out of here because I don't have to run out of here. Okay, I have now. Look, this is extremely volatile markets. So I think I'll do my testing today, and maybe we'll have a new home because new homes has never been a trade that we've had set up for. I'd rather do my whole test because my test is kind of interesting. Also, I want to see if it works. If I get any errors in a fast-moving market. So new homes, I think the news is probably going to be good. So, you know, even with that big up move, the purchasing news now I have a template for new homes, so I'm not worried. I can load it in a second. So the news was almost matching on manufacturing. It's almost not a great test today, okay, because the news was matching. Services is less important than manufacturing, okay, in my opinion. That's what I believe. So not a great test because of the news result. We didn't get that offset, a nice big offset that, or a decent offset that would have given us more information. Now, new homes, it's a different setup. And I think it's potentially very interesting. We've never had a new home setup that worked steadily. Tried gold, tried a whole bunch of different things.
And the US market PMI full report is now out on the Financials newsfeed if you'd like to have a read.
Okay. Let me just get my audio. So the new homes trade, I'll show you one video. It kind of looks interesting. So this is new homes. You're watching this clock, not this one. There's new homes. It shoots down. That was my first test. Okay. That was just trying to get a setup. So as I do more and more tests, then I got an error. Okay. So I knew that there was something wrong with my setup. If you get an error when you're back testing in simulation, then there's no chance that that setup's going to work live. It's going to kill you and you're going to lose money. So I made my bracket larger and I did a couple other tweaks to my targets, and then it was safer. Okay. So after that, new homes, the testing was looking very interesting. So, but look, you have issues today because the NQ is so volatile. We also have a concern about the Nasdaq at 10 a.m. Something seems to be happening with the Nasdaq at 10 a.m. There have been some giant moves, not always related to the news result. So we're still looking at that, but I have not seen it on the new home sales. So here's my setup. I'll show you the setup. So I've got a strategy and I've got it as a template. So I click on our strategy, go to template, load it, and then look for it. New homes NQ 42321. That's today. Double click it, and my template is all set up. I've got a 20 tick bracket, 3 positions, 8, 18, and 30 on the targets. 8, 18, and 30 on the targets. And the one thing I didn't forget, when target 2 gets hit, my stop moves to break even. And you could do break even plus 5 because it'll go through that. It'll go through that. But break even, I think, is safer if the market is really, really fast. If the market's really, really fast. And I don't see a great gold trade at 945. I think the NQ, I think gold, it's just not our friend right now. So the extra thing I'm doing is target 2 stop move goes to break even. Targets a stop of 18. I think today we're seeing that the stop needs to be bigger. I'm going to put a stop of 22 in today. So that's $110 per contract. It's a $330 risk at least. Entry time is 9:59:59. And the one trick is target 2 stop move, break even. BE, break even. Let me create a new recording. Okay, so the markets are up quite big. Quite big this morning. So we've got a 20 tick bracket. Targets of 8, 18, and 30, and a stop of 22. Okay. Stop of 22. And then I'll show you what's going on next week. I think next week's a good trading week. Better than I was expecting. Fred, thank you for that. Intel did not move the NQ. Were the earnings matching? Were they not impactful? I did not see Intel's earnings yet. Had a really bad day yesterday. Really bad day. Fred, my idea was so good to just go short, forget the earnings. But the NQ didn't go down. So the idea didn't work on the NQ, but it would have worked on the Intel stock. So I have not traded stocks in 30 years, probably 20 years, no, 10 years, 15 years, 15 years. So what I don't know is the times that actual stocks start and stop trading. Let's check our sync, because you can use our platform with a data feed from TD Ameritrade or Interactive Brokers, I believe, and you can trade stocks with our platform. I have not, I've said this before, it's a full-time job, and we could create a whole other division of the company using our software to trade stocks. Just at earnings. And there's so many, I think, that could be traded. But I could be wrong too. So I mean, I'm being honest, I've never tried it. It may not be workable because of slippage. There's a lot of issues. Mark, you're saying you would have gotten stopped out if you did the after the news trade. Would you have gotten stopped out? It went down too far after the news? But the news, would you have taken that trade? Because the news was almost matching. So I would think, are you just going based on color? Do you know what I mean? Are you going based on the color of investing.com? I know, Fred. I agree with that's true. I think just in this particular case, I think there was so much bad news surrounding Intel and so many. Oh, I see what you're saying. The direction of a stock. Yeah, I think that's true. But I think yesterday was a unique situation. And sometimes, depending on the kind of trader you are, some traders have the ability to take advantage of a unique situation. If you're a stock trader and you could trade Intel at 4 o'clock and you went short, I don't think you could have lost. I think I would have been willing to risk a certain amount of dollars taking Intel short yesterday before their earnings. Let's watch New Homes. I don't want my bracket too small. If it's too big, I'll shrink it. I'd rather have it big than small.
Order submitted.
That's perfect, actually. So New Homes are very good. And, they're really good, and it's not really responding. And this is why I'm happy I tested it. It really, part of the problem is the market's moved up so heavily. How do you, it might just be that New Homes is not being paid attention to right now. So this would be a canceled trade. Let's wait.
Order
So
submitted.
it's going the right direction. Is it going to survive, or is it going to do the same thing that the other trade did?
Order failed.
Same thing. So I'm extremely happy I tested my theories. So I'm not feeling so great about my testing right now. Or part of the problem is the NQ. The NQ is squirrely. It's really squirrely to trade. Gold didn't go the right way. Mark, let me show you what I'm talking about. So neither of my tests were that great. So it's maybe back to the drawing board. I have an idea. I have an idea. I have a very good idea. Actually, a very good idea. It means a lot of work for Chantal. Not really, actually, not a lot of work. So Mark, let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so there's a setting in NinjaTrader, and the first setting that gives me my pivots. My pivots draw at 12:30. At 6 p.m., I'm sorry. You want yours at midnight. I think if you go to data series, and I think, let's find out if you do, let's try this easy one first. Default 24/7. Apply it and okay it. I could be wrong about this choice. You know, okay, Mark, that's the setting. See how the pivots go to 0 at midnight Eastern time? So you go to data series and trading hours, default 24/7. It's the same one I use for earnings. The same one I use for earnings. That sets my pivots and my indicator net change display, which is a part of NinjaTrader. You don't have to buy it. Just scroll down, net change display, and then you can easily adjust it. You know how to buy points. You could use currency. You can use pips, ticks. Okay. I use points for the NQ, ticks for gold, oil. And then you can decide where it appears on your chart, location, bottom left, top left, etc. Okay. So let's see what the difference is today, and let's check. So it's 88 points right now from midnight. Are you showing that that matches, Mark? Let's check the data. Is it roughly 88 points from midnight? So if I put my data series back on use instrument settings, which is what I do, that, if you'll notice when I scroll back, when I get to 6 p.m., something may not be right though. because it seems like it's the same number. It's setting my pivots at 6 p.m., but it is possible that it doesn't. Let's check the configuration of the net change display, because I wouldn't think it could be the same exact number. I might send them an email because it's important. What I'm looking for is the net change display. So they don't really give you maximum bar. Nope, I'm going to have to send them an email maybe. In other words, I want to know what time it's calculating from. That's what I want to know. Okay, I'll email Ninja support and see what they say. All right, so that idea was half right, Mark. Only half right. It works with pivots, which is strange. Maybe there's another way to use it, another indicator we can use. Current day open. Current day open. So the open was 57. So it seems to be calculating, right? 57. What's 842? What's 13,842 minus 13,757? 89, right? But I want the software to calculate. I don't want to do any calculating or drawing any lines or anything. All right, I'll figure it out. I'll see if I can find out some info. Okay, folks. So look, we did some testing today because these reports are not official reports and don't have official setups. So it's just the way it is. Next week, just so you have an idea what's going on. Next week, core durable goods Monday. Tuesday, we've got CB consumer confidence. That's a questionable report. 7-year note. Alphabet, Google, which is Google, is questionable because it's unknown what time they're releasing right now. API, and then Australia CPI, not worth having a trade room for. Canada retail sales. That's an attempt to see if Canada is moving on more and more reports. So I went back 3 months. I looked at it. I have a plan. Okay. Crude oil inventories, FOMC statement. And then Wednesday, you got Facebook and Apple. I'm not sure what time eBay is actually releasing. Can't tell yet. Thursday, we've got advanced GDP, which is a good quarterly report with the jobless claims, and that's a very tradable report. Natural gas, Amazon earnings, which looks very possible for Thursday also, and then China manufacturing, non-manufacturing, just so you know, is better than, or at least as good as, the Caixin report. I think we should add this report as a DMM on copper, but it's late and we haven't added it, and I'm not trading at 8 in the morning and 9 at night. I'm just too tired. It's not a big enough mover, but it does have potential. Okay, just so you know. Watch the video of the schedule because I gave a tip on how to trade it. Canada GDP has not been showing much life, so I'm not having a trade room for it. And then I have a new thing called a trade room with a watch. That's what this trade room was. It was a trade room with watch, meaning not a guarantee I'm willing to trade the report live. Okay. It really depends on testing. That's been not a great report. Even the main one hasn't been great. But so there are a bunch of trades that look good though. I love the bond trades. FOMC statement's been working lately. You know, who knows? You never know with that. It's got risk, but it's an interesting. Advanced GDP's been working. Natural gas has been working. Amazon earnings trades are tricky. Core durable goods is starting to trade by itself, so maybe it's coming back. So we'll see. So and not sure if we're going to have a Google Alphabet trade or not. That's an unknown. So there's a bunch of good trades possible for next week. All right, folks. Any questions? Any questions? All right, so I'll see everybody Monday. Have a good weekend, folks. And I'll see everybody Monday. And that's it. Have a great one, folks. And I'll see you all later. And if you've been watching on YouTube, please sign up to the channel, hit the notification bell, give us a like. If you hit the notification bell, you'll know the next time we're here streaming live. Okay, we do a lot of trading live. So there's a lot to learn if you're interested. So sign up for our channel. We'd appreciate it. All right, folks. I'll see everybody next week. Take care.